Located in the southeast region of Asia, Singapore is home to more than 5.6 million people. With 4 major races and a variety of religions shared among the country, citizens work hand in hand to ensure racial harmony between each other. Compared to other countries around the world, there is a relatively high percentage of interracial marriages in Singapore. Though that may not be the case in the past, it all goes down to the social environment that we grew up in. For some, the act of marrying someone from another race or religion is seen as a disrespectful act and frowned upon or discouraged. Along with the various religious reasons certain people may have, the public has viewed it as something that may be considered taboo. Also, the stereotypes that people have associated with certain races have led to people seeing the negative side of interracial marriages. Despite the existing laws the government has put up to prevent any discrimination in the country, some citizens are still receiving racial slurs on a regular basis. Some face discrimination from their friends, and some even from their own family. Some struggle and jump hurdles to get to where they are now, but those struggles define us and our individuality. In this film, we are able to dig deeper to understand what racism is to different individuals, while also addressing the current racial issues that mixed bloods and converts are facing throughout their lives.
I'm Isabella and I'm 21 and I'm studying in SIT, Diagnostic Radiography.
I'm Rui Mei. I'm 19 and my play was picked up by TheatreWorks.
I'm No Elena Chan, I'm 59 and I'm a senior executive.
I don't feel anything about being mixed. I guess it's a good conversation starter because people are always really surprised. And they always think it's a bit like odd or unique.
The uniqueness, I guess you could say. I like having to know that I'm mixed and I can switch from one role to another, like being able to have the ability to speak few languages. I can connect with this side of the family, I can connect to another side, and I feel that it's kind of fun.
I feel privileged to have this perspective on race, I think, because I think when you are mixed, you become a bit colorblind, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Actually, I didn't let them know when I convert, so it's just me and God, that's all. My in-law welcomed me. I have no problem with them. They accept me as I am. To me, I think though my family matters to me, but I'm thinking of my happiness eventually. It's my life. So I just go ahead, just be strong and overcome everything.
I've grown up like that, so I'm into this culture and the whole thing. So it's not more of adapting, it's more of growing into it.
I guess it also, I think it really depends on your parents, because my parents didn't try very hard to they didn't really integrate us into both cultures. We're very anglicized in a way.
As I grow older, I start to reflect and I can appreciate how diverse my culture are and how fortunate I can get to experience both of them at the same time. Because it's fun because you can experience the Chinese culture, you can experience the Malay culture, and then you can see the fusion between these two.
You just need to really go and put in more efforts to learn about the religion and also their culture, what they are like. And so far, I don't see any difficulty in getting all this done. I have no problem at all.
Being mixed blood or converts hasn't always been easy for these individuals. They've struggled with multiple challenges throughout their whole lives to get to where they are now. Racism is a serious issue that people still use in this time and age to defend their own rights and also at times for personal pleasure. People have moved on to support the rights of being equals by color, race, gender, sexuality, and more. Unfortunately, a handful of them are still stuck back in time with their mindset not being able to move forward.
Racism to me is more on different religion which can't which people can't get along because of the different religion. I think basically, if you belongs to one, and if you cannot accept the others, that's how it happens.
I guess you could say it's a bit of like people being intolerable for other people's races or like cultures and everything.
I mean, there is racism still in Singapore, but I believe that it's much more controlled as compared to other countries.
I think it's where they should actually try to be more open-minded in interacting with people of different races, of different religion, so that they can just have a very open relationship, to have a good social network.
At the end of the day, I don't think it really matters what race you are, like even whether you're mixed or not. I think it's really about who you are as an individual, and I think that when you think about race and you focus on someone's race rather than who they are, like what principles they have and like what they're thinking about, I think you tend to miss out on a lot of things, because people are people regardless of what color their skin is or what language they speak, and I think race doesn't matter at all.
It happens all the time when I'm meeting new people. If I don't tell them that I'm mixed, they won't know. So they'll just think I'm Malay because I have a Malay name anyway. So when that happens, it's like it's fun to know when should I drop the bomb or something.
When I went to my friend's Deepavali celebration, and her grandmother didn't know that my dad was Chinese because I come with my mom only. So she just assumed that we were from an Indian family. And what she said was, she said to my mom, she said, we Indians have to keep to ourselves. It was a very pointed remark towards her. She had a daughter-in-law that was Chinese, and she was just trying to make her uncomfortable.
With my family, yes. Because of all the war history, all that, so they were actually very against.
For my own family, I don't think I've ever felt that way, but like distant relatives, like from my father's side, as I was saying, Chinese side, because they're distant, and they will come over once for the Chinese New Year, and then they were like, hey, how come got this Malay girl over here? And they're like, I mean, they never really say that, but I can tell that they kind of meant that way.
Inspired by her parents' marriage, Romay joined the 24-hour playwriting competition hosted by TheatreWorks back in 2016. She was not only given an opportunity to showcase how she feels towards racism, but also understanding both hers and her parents' past.
Okay, I wrote the play during the 24-hour playwriting competition, and I think it was just the easiest thing for me to write about because I was also puzzling through it at that time. I think I was really wondering why my parents would have gotten married, because it's really hard and they're both very practical people when I think about it. So I didn't understand why they made that decision, because I'm not even sure I would make that decision. And we live in a very different time than when they did, and I still don't know if I made that decision. So I think the play was my way of trying to see what could possibly be so special about another person that you choose to sacrifice a lot of parts of your life. But in the end, it started out as a love story, but it didn't end up like that. I think because I worked with this wonderful director called Xiao Chen, and he developed my writing, so it ended up being a play about kindness and why we should be kind over everything else. I think it was overall a very positive response, but I think you also I think when you're talking about race in Singapore, you can't really get a negative response, especially in recent years, because it's become very fashionable to talk about things like race in Singapore. And yeah, but I mean, it was really heartfelt lah. Like I got to meet a lot of people who had been affected by racism in Singapore, and hearing them and they're like really listening to what they've experienced, and it was really amazing. And a lot of them, they were really happy to be able to see a play performed that really resonated with their own experiences about how people were cruel to them. This one couple came up to me after one of the earlier performances, and they said, "Thank you so much for writing this, because it was a lot harder back in our day," and they were really happy and they were really nice.
Her play inspires a lot of people, especially those who experience racial slurs on a regular basis. These individuals are not only proud of their own skin, but also the characteristics that can be deemed as unique and special. These characteristics have brought the community to embrace each other and bring us closer together.
I think you just need to learn not to let it bother you, or you create like a bubble for yourself that only you can inhabit, and people outside just don't get to break through lah. Because at the end of the day, your life is going to be what you make it, and other people's opinions don't really come into it at all. It's a lot about what you want to achieve, and if you want to achieve something, then no one can stop you. I mean, obviously, that's not saying that it's not going to be difficult. There are so many obstacles that people will put in your way, but as long as you want to achieve it, I think that's just really what you have to focus on, whether people are mean to you or not.
It doesn't matter whether you're a mix or not a mix, because I feel like your own individual characteristics are very important in portraying who you are, and that just makes you a person of your own self. So it doesn't really matter what race you are. It's just that if you do good and you're satisfied with yourself, I think being positive about yourself is good enough.
I think everybody just have to learn to accept everyone, be part of the community and understand them. There is no right or wrong answer actually. So it's all up to individual how they want to overcome it. Whatever you do, whichever religion you're in, I feel that you just have to be strong, stand firm in your principle, be yourself, and adjust accordingly.